Imagine a world where the heavens tremble with the clash of chariots, where kings rise and fall like the tide, and a lone wanderer follows a voice no one else can hear. In that restless age, a man named Abram left the glitter of behind, stepping into the untamed wilderness of Canaan with only his tents, his flocks, and a promise whispered by the God of heaven. The land he entered was far from peaceful. Nations fought over borders, idols of stone and wood captured every altar, and the strong measured their worth by the size of their armies. Yet Abram pressed onward, his faith a flickering lamp in a storm of darkness. Nearby, Abram's nephew Lot chose the lush valley of the Jordan, close to the infamous city of Sodom. The valley's fertility hid a rot that seeped from the streets of the city: indifference, cruelty, and a worship of false gods that stained the very soil. Lot's decision seemed pragmatic, but it set the stage for a dramatic rescue that would change the course of history. One fateful day, 4 kings from the east, led by the fearsome Chedorlaomer of Elam, swept down like a desert wind, subduing 5 kings of the plain, including the rulers of Sodom and Gomorrah. Their soldiers pillaged towns, seized families, and carried away countless captives, Lot among them. When word of the disaster reached Abram, he gathered a small band of trusted men, 318 souls, armed with resolve rather than numbers. Under the cover of night, Abram pursued the fleeing army, surprising them with a sudden, fierce attack. The power of God turned the tide. The mighty eastern forces scattered in confusion, allowing Abram to free his nephew and retrieve the stolen wealth. The rescued party rested in the valley of Shaveh, and there an extraordinary encounter awaited. From the ancient city of Salem, a figure stepped forward, tall, regal, bearing the title King of Salem and priest of the Most High God. This was Melchizedek, whose very name means King of Righteousness, and whose city, Salem, meant peace. He embodied both sovereign authority and divine worship in a single, unprecedented person. Unlike the surrounding monarchs who worshipped countless idols, Melchizedek served El Elyon, the God who made heaven and earth. In a world awash with false gods, his presence was a startling reminder that the true Creator still walked among men. He brought out bread and wine, not as a tribute or triumph, but as a sacred act of fellowship. Melchizedek lifted his voice and blessed Abram. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, Creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. Abram, humbled by the encounter, offered a tenth of his spoils to the priest-king, acknowledging his higher authority. Then, as abruptly as he had appeared, Melchizedek vanished from the narrative. No genealogy, no birth record, no account of his death, just a brief, powerful moment that lingers like a spark in the dark. The scriptures move on, but his mystery deepens, echoing through centuries. Generations later, during the reign of King David, the poet-king would recall Melchizedek in Psalm 110. "You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek." This psalm linked the ancient priest-king to an everlasting priesthood, one that would not be bound by lineage or the Levitical law. Rabbinic scholars debated his identity. Some argued he was Shem, Noah's surviving son, still alive to bless Abram. Others suggested he was an angelic messenger, a heavenly being clothed in human flesh. A third, more daring view saw him as a pre-incarnate appearance of the Messiah himself, a foretaste of Christ's redemptive work. The New Testament author of Hebrews would later amplify this mystery, describing Melchizedek as without father or mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, a priest forever like the Son of God. This portrait placed him far above the ordinary Levitical priesthood, whose service was limited by mortality. When Christ entered the world, he did not adopt the Aaronic priesthood. Instead, he fulfilled the order of Melchizedek, eternal, indestructible, perfect. The bread and wine that Melchizedek offered to Abram become a shadow of the Last Supper, where Jesus declared the bread his body and the wine his blood, establishing a covenant that transcends time. The story of Melchizedek therefore stands as a bridge linking Abraham's walk of faith with the finished work of Christ. It shows that God's plan for priesthood was never confined to a tribe or a temple. It pointed forward to a priest who would offer himself once for all. Today we live in a world that mirrors the moral decay of Sodom, political corruption, social injustice, and the worship of wealth, power and pleasure. Nations clash, leaders boast, and humanity often forgets the God who made the stars. Yet the order of Melchizedek remains a beacon, reminding us that true authority comes from the Most High, not from earthly thrones. Just as Abram bowed before Melchizedek, recognizing a higher priest-king, we are called to kneel before Christ, the King of righteousness and Prince of Peace. Abram's tenth of the spoil becomes our invitation to surrender all we own: time, talent, treasure to the one whose kingdom never ends. Melchizedek's fleeting appearance tells us that God's ways often surpass human understanding. He may step into our lives suddenly, offering blessing and then disappearing, leaving behind a legacy that points us toward something greater. The mystery of a priest-king with no recorded birth or death teaches us that eternity is not bound by the pages of history. It invites us to place our hope not in temporal leaders, but in the eternal one who reigns above every kingdom. When the storms of life roar around us, whether personal trials or global crises, remember the valley of Shaveh, where a priest-king met Abraham in the aftermath of battle and offered bread, wine, and a blessing that still echoes today. In the same way, Christ meets us in our own valleys, breaking bread and sharing wine, inviting us into a fellowship that defeats death and restores life. His priesthood, like Melchizedek's, is perpetual, rooted in the very nature of God himself. So as we navigate a world full of false idols, let us look beyond the glitter of power and hear the still, small voice that says, "I am the God Most High, the everlasting King, the eternal priest." Let this truth shape our worship, our service, and our daily choices. May the mystery of Melchizedek grip our hearts, not as a puzzle to solve, but as a signpost pointing to the one who fulfills all righteousness and peace. May we, like Abraham, respond with faith, generosity, and reverence, knowing that the same God who blessed the ancient patriarch blesses us today. And as we close, remember, the kingdoms of men rise and fall, the idols of the world crumble, but the priesthood of the Most High endures forever. The bread, the wine, the blessing, these symbols remain, pointing us continually toward the eternal King who reigns beyond time. If this journey through the mystery of Melchizedek has sparked curiosity or deepened your faith, please subscribe to our channel for more explorations of biblical wonders. Like the video, share it with friends, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions about the priest-king who bridges the Old and New Testaments. Thank you for watching, and may the peace of the eternal King fill your heart today.